In the darkness of a solitary room, a single candle flickers weakly. The lost soul, Hannah, kneels before it, murmuring a prayer in search of solace. The air grows thick, almost tangible. Suddenly, the candle's flame stretches unnaturally, glowing brighter. Shadows on the walls begin to move on their own, as if responding to some unseen force. A tremor runs through the floorboards, as if something deep within the earth is awakening. Silence falls. Then, the candle bursts into a cold white flame, flooding the room with intense light. A tall, shifting silhouette appears before her, its edges glowing like molten metal. There's no wind, no sound, just the feeling of being watched by something she cannot see. A voice reverberates inside her chest. "You have been seen." The words echo within her, marking her soul, leaving her with a sense of both fear and revelation. The light from the candle vanishes, but the strange energy remains, dense and heavy in the room. Hannah rises slowly, her eyes scanning the now eerily still room. The shadows feel thicker, as if waiting for something. A shiver runs down her spine, but she can't take her eyes off the space where the figure disappeared. "What was that?" she whispers, her voice trembling. She turns around, and the room feels colder, emptier than before. The pressure on her chest intensifies, and she can't shake the feeling of being watched. Yet, there is no one there. The only change is the air, thick with an unseen presence. Was it real? She wonders, but the doubt only deepens her confusion. Something inside her tells her that the visit wasn't a dream, but her mind refuses to accept the inexplicable. All she can do now is wait. But wait for what? She has no idea. Hannah takes slow steps toward the window. Each step feels heavier, as though the air around her is becoming thicker, more difficult to move through. When she reaches the window, she looks outside, but all she can see is darkness. Thick fog blankets the world beyond, and the wind moves strangely, almost like a whisper. A deep feeling of despair settles in her chest. She can't escape the sense that something is waiting in that darkness, something watching her from within the mist. I can't stay here, she thinks, yet at the same time, something urges her forward. It's as if a voice inside her is telling her that it's all connected, that there's a purpose. But her heart races with uncertainty. She doesn't know if she's ready to face whatever is out there, but she feels like she has no choice. The answer lies in the dark, fog-covered distance. Suddenly a cold gust of wind fills the room, making her shiver. She closes her eyes for a moment, startled by the invisible force. Something pushes her forward toward the window, but she's not sure if she should open it. When she does, the fog pours inside, thick and chilling, wrapping around her in a sense of helplessness. She gasps for air, her breath quickening as she watches the figure through the mist, drawing closer. She can't see it clearly, but she knows it's there, and its presence quickens her pulse. The figure is moving closer, yet she can't move. The air around her feels frozen, and the figure stops just before her, as a voice echoes again in her mind, more powerful than before. "You are here." The figure comes closer, its steps echoing in the air, though no sound is made. Hannah feels a knot tighten in her throat, unable to look away. Her mind screams at her to run, but her feet remain frozen. Then, the figure stops. The air grows even heavier, as if the space is being compressed. The voice returns louder now. "We have been waiting for you." The words freeze her in place. The terror swells, but somewhere deep inside, she knows she has no choice. Whatever is coming, she has to face it. The fog grows thicker, and the figure stands, waiting for her next move. Hannah stands by the window, still gazing out at the thick fog that seems to have consumed the world. Her mind races, replaying the chilling events of the previous night. A voice echoes in her mind, "We are here." She shudders. The weight of those words lingers in her soul. Fear is something she's become all too familiar with, but this is different. This is something deeper. It feels like a presence, waiting for her to make a choice. What am I supposed to do? She wonders aloud. She clenches her fists, feeling powerless. Despite the terror, there's a pull inside her, a nagging feeling that she must confront whatever this force is. Hannah turns away from the window, feeling trapped in a world that no longer makes sense. Her breath catches in her chest as she feels the pressure of the unseen eyes on her. "I can't stay here forever," she whispers to herself, but the doubt lingers. The path ahead is unclear, but she must choose to move forward. The door creaks open slowly, and Hannah jumps, startled by the unexpected sound. Standing in the doorway is the faithful guide, an older man in his 60s, his expression kind, but filled with unspoken understanding. His presence is calm, but Hannah can sense a deep wisdom behind his eyes. "I know you're scared," he says gently, stepping into the room. "But you're not alone." Hannah shakes her head, unsure how to respond. "I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. What is all of this? Why now?" she asks, her voice trembling. The faithful guide sighs softly, taking a step closer to her. "The path ahead is one of discovery. You have been chosen for something greater than you can yet understand. But trust me, you will find your way." Hannah looks at him, still full of doubt. "How do I trust something I can't even see?" she asks, the fear gripping her heart. The faithful guide places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You don't need to see it to believe it. Sometimes trust is all you have." Hannah takes a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves as she listens to the faithful guide. "But how do I start?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. The faithful guide looks at her with a steady gaze. "You start by taking the first step. Trust in yourself, even when the path is unclear." Hannah hesitates. Her heart beats loudly in her chest. She wants to believe him, to trust him, but the fear of the unknown grips her tightly. "I don't even know where to begin," she says. "What if I make the wrong choice?" The faithful guide smiles gently, the warmth in his eyes comforting her. "There are no wrong choices on this path. Every step, no matter how small, is part of your journey." Hannah closes her eyes, the words sinking in. For the first time in days, she feels a flicker of hope, but it's faint. "What if I'm not strong enough?" she asks softly. "You are stronger than you know," he replies. "You've already come this far." The next day, Hannah finds herself standing outside the house, staring at the wide open world before her. The fog has lifted, but the weight of the journey ahead still hangs heavily on her heart. She's never felt more unsure of anything in her life. The faithful guide stands beside her, his presence a calming force. "The first step is always the hardest," he says quietly, noticing her hesitation. Hannah swallows hard, taking a shaky breath. "I don't know if I can do this," she admits. The faithful guide turns to face her, his eyes filled with quiet wisdom. "You've already done more than you think. You've come this far. Don't doubt yourself now." Hannah looks ahead, the road stretching out before her, both intimidating and full of possibility. She feels the weight of the choice pressing down on her. "I don't know where it leads, but I have to try," she whispers to herself, more for reassurance than anyone else. The journey begins with this single step, and despite her fear, she knows she can't turn back now. Hannah takes her first step, the ground beneath her feet solid but unfamiliar. She feels the cold air on her skin, the weight of every step pulling her forward. "I don't know what's waiting for me," she thinks to herself, but the voice of the faithful guide echoes in her mind. "Trust." She pushes forward, despite the fear gnawing at her. With each step, her heart beats faster, but also stronger. It's as if every motion is a reminder that she's still alive, still fighting. "I have to keep moving," she whispers, trying to quell the rising panic inside her. She walks slowly, deliberately, her hands trembling slightly. The path is unclear, and the fog of uncertainty still clings to her, but Hannah keeps going. "This is only the beginning," she tells herself. But with each step, the darkness feels a little less heavy, and the light of possibility begins to shine through. Hannah stands at the edge of a dense forest, her breath shallow and quick. The path ahead seems uncertain, tangled in shadows and the unknown. "I don't know how to do this," she whispers to herself. Her voice feels small in the vastness around her. The weight of her past, her doubts, and the strange force guiding her all converge in this moment. The fog is thick, swirling at the forest's edge like an ominous presence. "Can I truly trust myself?" she asks aloud, but the only answer is the rustling of the leaves. She takes a hesitant step forward, her heart pounding. "I've come this far. I can't turn back now." The thought of the unknown fills her with dread, but it's also the only thing that keeps her moving. Hannah exhales slowly, trying to calm her nerves, but each step feels like a leap of faith. "This is where I find myself," she thinks, determined to continue despite her fear. As Hannah ventures deeper into the forest, the air grows cooler, and the shadows stretch longer. Every step feels like a trial, the path disappearing into the thick mist. This is foolish, she thinks, but something inside her keeps her moving. She's searching for something she can't see, a feeling she can't quite name. The trees seem to close in around her, and the silence is overwhelming. The whispers from the forest are faint but persistent, like echoes of the past. "I've felt this before," she mutters, her mind racing. She stumbles on a root, her hand shooting out to catch herself on a nearby tree. Her breath is quick, her pulse racing as if the forest itself is testing her. "Why is this so hard?" she asks, her voice trembling. But deep down, she knows the answer. The hardest part is confronting her own fears, the unknowns within her own heart. "I need to face this," she whispers. As Hannah walks further into the woods, a sense of isolation settles over her. The silence is deafening, the only sound being the soft crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Her mind flashes with memories of the past, moments when she felt lost and unsure. "What am I really running from?" she asks, the question hanging in the air. The path ahead is unclear, but she knows she can't stop now. Her thoughts race back to the words of the faithful guide. There are no wrong choices on this path. But what if I fail? She wonders. The fear of failure grips her heart, and for a moment, she falters. But then she hears the sound of running water in the distance. The idea of a river or stream brings her a sense of relief. She begins walking toward the sound, the noise growing louder with each step. "I have to believe I'm heading in the right direction," she tells herself. With renewed resolve, Hannah moves faster, guided by the sound of the water. The forest begins to open up as Hannah approaches a clearing. The sound of running water becomes clearer, the soft rush of a stream cutting through the silence. The light here is softer, more inviting, and for the first time in what feels like forever, she feels a sense of calm. She kneels by the stream, her hands trembling slightly as she dips her fingers into the cool water. "It's real," she says softly, the water feeling like a connection to something bigger. For a moment, the weight of the world seems to lift from her shoulders. But as she looks down at her reflection, the doubts return. "What am I meant to do?" she wonders aloud, her voice almost drowned by the sound of the water. The reflection in the stream doesn't answer, but it forces her to confront the question within herself. The fear is still there, but it's not as heavy now. With a deep breath, Hannah stands up, wiping her hands on her dress. "I have to keep moving," she thinks, determination growing inside her. The moment by the stream brings Hannah a sense of clarity, but as she stands and continues her journey, the path becomes steeper, more difficult to navigate. The trees grow denser, and the air feels heavier. The forest around her seems to close in again, as if testing her resolve. "I don't know if I'm strong enough," she admits quietly. But as she climbs over a fallen log, a feeling of determination pulses through her. "I have to be," she thinks. Each step feels like a battle, but she pushes forward, her breath shallow and her legs aching. Her mind begins to clear, and for the first time, she allows herself to feel the strength inside her. "I'm not running anymore," she tells herself. "I'm facing this head on." The trees ahead begin to thin out, and the light starts to change. Hannah doesn't know what lies beyond the forest, but she knows she can't stop now. The journey is far from over, but this is her path to walk. Hannah walks through a dense mist, her breath shallow and her heart racing. The forest has become a labyrinth of twisted trees and thick fog, disorienting her with every step. She feels the weight of every shadow, as if the darkness itself is alive and watching her. "What am I doing?" she whispers to herself. Each moment feels like a struggle against something she can't see. As she continues, her thoughts spiral into doubt. This isn't how it's supposed to be, she thinks. The path ahead is unclear, but there's a voice in her mind urging her forward. There's something here, something I meant to find. Suddenly, the fog clears for a brief moment, revealing a clearing up ahead. She squints, unsure if she's imagining it. The clearing glows with an ethereal light, as if drawing her in. Is this it? She wonders aloud, feeling the gravity of the moment. Her legs move automatically as if guided by some unseen force. As Hannah steps into the clearing, a strange glowing light surrounds her. She pauses for a moment, looking around in awe and confusion. "What is this place?" she asks, her voice echoing in the silence. The light is unlike anything she has ever seen, soft but intense, as if it holds ancient power. As she steps further into the clearing, the air around her vibrates with energy, almost as if the ground itself is alive. The wind picks up, swirling the leaves and the mist around her, and for the first time she feels a strange connection to everything around her. "I've been searching for something, but I didn't know what it was until now," she whispers, as a deep realization settles in her heart. The force guiding her all this time wasn't just a voice, it was a presence, and it's here in this moment that she understands its purpose. "I have to trust it," she says, taking another step forward, feeling the pull of destiny. The light intensifies as Hannah moves deeper into the clearing, and the world around her starts to shift. The trees seem to bend toward her, the earth beneath her feet shifting, as though welcoming her presence. "This is it," she breathes, her heart racing as everything she's felt until now comes into focus. But with this clarity comes a wave of doubt. "Am I ready for this?" she wonders aloud. The air grows thick with the weight of her question. But before she can answer, the ground trembles slightly, and a deep voice reverberates through the clearing. "You are not alone." Hannah freezes, her breath caught in her chest. She turns slowly, eyes wide, searching for the source of the voice. It's neither male nor female, but something else, ancient, deep, and wise. "Who's there?" she asks, her voice trembling. A shadow shifts before her, taking form. It is not a figure, but a presence, shifting and changing in the light. The shifting figure before Hannah begins to solidify, and she gasps, stepping back slightly. The form is blurry, like a mirage, yet it radiates an overwhelming presence. "I have been waiting for you," the voice says again, reverberating deep within her soul. Hannah's heart races. "Waiting for me? Why? What do you want from me?" The figure remains silent, its form shimmering in the light. The intensity of its presence presses down on her chest, but there's no hostility, only a deep, ancient wisdom. "You must understand," the voice continues. "You are the key to the balance. Only you can restore what has been lost." Hannah blinks, confused and overwhelmed. "Restore what?" she asks, her voice small and filled with uncertainty. The figure's presence shifts, and a swirl of images flashes before her eyes. Images of a world out of balance, chaos consuming the land. "The time has come for you to make a choice," the voice says, the words heavy with meaning. The presence looms before Hannah, and she feels the weight of the world pressing down on her. "What choice?" "I don't understand," she murmurs. The voice continues, calm yet powerful. "You must choose between the path of darkness or the path of light. The future depends on your decision." Hannah feels a knot form in her stomach, her hands shaking as the pressure builds. "But I don't know if I can," she whispers. The voice softens, its tone comforting. "You have already made the first step. The rest will come when you are ready." Hannah looks at the glowing figure, her mind racing. "How can I know what's right?" she asks, her voice trembling. The figure's presence swells, filling the clearing with light. "You will know when the time comes. Trust yourself." Hannah stands still, the weight of the moment sinking into her soul. The choice is now hers to make, and the path ahead remains unclear. But she knows one thing for sure: whatever happens, she cannot turn back. Hannah stands on the edge of a vast chasm, her breath shallow as she looks at the darkness below. The wind howls around her, pulling at her hair and dress, but she doesn't flinch. The weight of the choice before her is suffocating. "Come this far," she whispers to herself, trying to steady her nerves. "This is it. This is where it ends." The voice inside her heart urges her forward, telling her that this moment is what she was always meant to face. She steps closer to the edge, the abyss stretching out before her. "I can't do this," she thinks, but then another voice inside her answers, "Yes, you can." Hannah closes her eyes, her heart pounding in her chest. She knows she has no other choice. She steps into the void. The moment Hannah steps forward, the world shifts. The wind intensifies, but instead of falling, she feels herself lifted. The ground beneath her feet seems to disappear, and the sensation of floating takes over. This isn't real, she thinks, but her body feels weightless, as if the universe is guiding her. The air is thick with energy, and the fog begins to swirl, forming shapes around her. "What is this?" she wonders aloud, unable to make sense of the vision before her. Images flash before her eyes, moments from her past, people she's lost, dreams she's abandoned. It all rushes at her like a tidal wave, but instead of drowning, she feels clarity. This is my moment, she realizes, understanding that she is not running away anymore. She's finally ready to face her true self. The world around Hannah begins to stabilize, and she finds herself standing in a new space, a place between worlds. The fog clears to reveal a vast open field under a twilight sky. The colors of the sunset paint the horizon in brilliant oranges and reds. "Am I dead?" she wonders aloud. The question feels insignificant now. She has crossed over not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. She is standing on the threshold of something greater than herself. This is where I make my choice, she realizes. The voice from before, the presence that guided her, resonates in her chest. "You are the one who will decide. Your soul will lead the way." Hannah closes her eyes, taking a deep breath. "I'm ready," she whispers, and with that she steps forward into the field, feeling lighter than ever before. As Hannah walks through the field, the landscape shifts again, this time revealing a shimmering door in the distance. It glows faintly, as if calling her toward it. Is this the end? She asks herself, feeling the weight of her decision. The door stands at the edge of the field, framed by a radiant light. As she approaches, the door slowly opens, revealing a space filled with calm and serenity. She can feel her heart calm with each step. The voice from within her speaks again, this time softer and warmer. "This is your destiny. You are the bridge between worlds." Hannah takes a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly. "I trust this," she whispers, knowing she's made her choice. The fear is gone now, replaced by a sense of peace. She steps forward into the light. Hannah steps through the door, and everything shifts again. The world around her is filled with a gentle, golden light, and she feels as though she's been reborn. The landscape is calm, almost dreamlike, with soft hills rolling into the distance. There is no fear now, only peace. The voice inside her speaks again. "You have completed your journey. The balance is restored." Hannah looks around, feeling a deep connection to everything around her. The journey wasn't just about the physical world. It was about facing the darkness within herself and choosing to walk into the light. "I found my way," she says, her voice steady and full of understanding. The world around her seems to reflect her newfound strength, a serene landscape that symbolizes her inner peace. "This is my path," she whispers, taking the first step into this new chapter of her life. Hannah stands at the edge of a vast shimmering lake, the surface perfectly still, reflecting the golden light of the setting sun. The air is cool and refreshing, a stark contrast to the heat of the journey she's just endured. She looks down at her reflection, seeing herself as if for the first time, her expression calm but filled with understanding. "I've come so far," she whispers. The doubts that once plagued her mind are now distant memories, and though the weight of her journey still lingers, she feels a deep sense of peace. "This is who I am now," she realizes, a sense of completion washing over her. Hannah takes a deep breath, her eyes closing for a moment as she feels the energy of the world around her. I'm ready for what comes next, she thinks, knowing she has found her place, both in the world and within herself. As Hannah stands by the lake, a faint sound reaches her ears, like a whisper carried on the wind. She turns slowly, her heart pounding in her chest as she sees the faithful guide approaching from behind, his figure illuminated by the golden light. I knew you'd find your way, he says softly, his voice full of pride. Hannah smiles, feeling a surge of gratitude. I never couldn't have done it without you, she admits, her voice filled with emotion. The faithful guide places a hand on her shoulder. You had it in you all along. I merely reminded you of the strength you already possessed. Hannah nods, understanding now that the journey wasn't just about reaching a destination. It was about discovering the power within herself, a power she can now embrace fully. Thank you, she whispers, her heart lighter than it has ever been. Hannah and the faithful guide sit by the lakeside, the world around them bathed in the soft glow of the evening. The silence between them is comfortable, filled with the unspoken understanding of everything that has transpired. The world has changed, Hannah says, her voice thoughtful. And so have I. Faithful guide nods. Change is the essence of life. It's not about avoiding it, but embracing it when it comes. Hannah smiles, feeling the truth of his words resonate deep within her. I've learned that the journey is never really over, that each moment is part of something bigger. Faithful guide watches her, his expression gentle. You've learned more than you know. The future is yours now. Hannah looks at the horizon, the last rays of sunlight dipping below the horizon, signaling the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. She feels ready, not for the answers, but for the questions that lie ahead. As Hannah watches the sunset, she feels a deep sense of fulfillment, but also a realization that the journey is far from over. I thought I would find all the answers, she reflects, but now I know that the questions are just as important. She turns to the faithful guide, who smiles knowingly. The answers will come when you're ready, but the questions will always lead you to growth. Hannah nods, understanding now that life isn't about finding a final destination. It's about embracing the journey itself. I'm ready to keep walking, she says, her voice full of conviction. Faithful guide places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Then go, and walk with all your heart. Hannah stands up, taking one last look at the peaceful lake before turning toward the path ahead, knowing she's finally ready for whatever comes next. Hannah walks away from the lake, the cool breeze on her face as she heads toward the unknown. With each step, the weight she had carried for so long seems to lift, replaced by a sense of freedom. I don't know where I'm going, she thinks, but I know I'm ready. The path ahead is not clear, but Hannah walks with purpose, every step a declaration of her newfound strength. The journey continues, she thinks, feeling a deep sense of peace within herself. The world is wide, and though she doesn't know all the answers, she is no longer afraid to face whatever comes next. The future is hers to shape, and for the first time in her life, Hannah feels completely at peace with that. Hannah walks through a dense forest, the trees towering above her like silent sentinels. The ground is soft beneath her feet, the air cool and fresh. She has been walking for hours, her thoughts focused on the journey that has brought her here. What is it all for? She wonders aloud. All of this pain, all the struggle, what did I learn? Her footsteps slow as she takes in the beauty around her. The forest, once filled with shadows and uncertainty, now feels like a sanctuary, a place of peace. I've learned that the journey never really ends, she thinks, looking up at the sky through the branches above. The sunlight filters through the leaves, casting soft beams of light on her face. It's about how we grow, how we change, she whispers, her heart full of quiet wisdom. Hannah smiles softly, understanding now that life is not about finding the end, but about embracing the path with all its challenges and rewards. After walking for what feels like hours, Hannah comes to a clearing where a small stream flows gently through the landscape. The sound of the water rushing over the rocks fills the air, soothing her. She kneels beside the stream, dipping her fingers into the cool water. This is where I find peace, she thinks. This is where everything makes sense. The water mirrors her reflection, and for the first time she truly sees herself, calm, strong, and free. She doesn't have all the answers, but that's okay. Hannah knows that life is a constant flow, like the stream before her. I am part of this, part of the world, part of the journey, she reflects. And that's enough. She closes her eyes, allowing herself a moment of silence and gratitude, before she rises and continues her walk, no longer seeking answers but simply being. As Hannah continues her journey, the path opens up to reveal a wide, expansive meadow. The sun is beginning to set, casting golden light over the grass, which sways gently in the breeze. This is where I belong, she thinks, feeling a deep connection to the world around her. The doubts and fears that once clouded her mind are now distant memories. She no longer feels lost, no longer feels like an outsider. I am whole, she whispers to herself, a quiet smile playing on her lips. The sky above is painted with soft hues of pink and orange, the perfect reflection of her inner peace. Hannah takes a deep breath, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. She is not the same person who began this journey, but she's finally at peace with who she has become. As Hannah continues walking, the meadow slowly gives way to a rocky path that climbs upward toward a distant mountain. The path looks challenging, but Hannah feels a quiet sense of determination rise within her. This is where I'm meant to go, she thinks. The path may be difficult, but it's mine to walk. Her legs are strong, her heart even stronger. Hannah's mind drifts to everything she's learned along the way, the lessons of courage, of acceptance, and of trust. She has faced darkness, and she has found light. I've earned this strength, she reflects. As she climbs the rocky path, she feels the weight of the journey, but it no longer feels like a burden. It feels like a testament to her growth, a reminder of how far she has come. At the top of the mountain, Hannah stands, gazing out over the vast landscape below. The world stretches out before her, filled with endless possibilities. I've made it, she thinks, her heart full of gratitude. The wind is gentle here, and the sky is wide and clear, as if welcoming her to this new chapter of her life. This is only the beginning, she realizes, her voice barely a whisper. Hannah smiles, feeling the weight of her journey lift completely. She has found what she was searching for, not a destination, but the strength to walk her own path. The world is mine to explore, she says softly, knowing that the adventure is far from over. But for now, she stands at the peak, a symbol of the strength she has found within herself.